When you get transported to another world, would you use your knowledge from your old world to better your struggles in this new life? Well, these guys do, from becoming a hero to forging their own empire, to using said knowledge to defeat gods or just living a slow and easy life. In this video, I'm gonna show you some anime where the main character uses modern knowledge in the world they got Isekaied. First up we have Outbreak Company. Having a light novel author father and an eroge illustrator mother, Kano Shinichi is a thoroughbred otaku. However, he does not have any special power except for his broad knowledge, sharp insight, and impeccable instinct about moe and its products, from manga to anime to games to light novel to figures. One day he found himself transported to a fantasy world where elves live and dragons fly. And he is given a task, not to fight monsters or embark on a quest, but to enhance cultural exchange by becoming a moe missionary in this fantasy world. He meets a palace guard who has a bit of fujoshi taste, a half-elf maid, and the empress who is a little girl. He comes up with the idea of building a school. At first it runs as a comedy, but later there are serious matters that Shinichi needs to face, such as ethnic discrimination, social problems, conflict with neighboring countries, sabotage by opposition elements including the Japanese government, etc. Can he overcome the obstacles, successfully bringing moe culture to the fantasy world, and help the people there as well? The modern knowledge in Outbreak Company is in the introduction of modern-day moe culture. As it has been said, Shinichi, being a thoroughbred otaku, is tasked with, well, basically breaking the culture of the empire. Thus, bringing change to how the nation works. In a way, it's kind of like slowly changing another nation's culture by poisoning it with your own. So you could say this is shadow colonialism at its finest, or should I say, at its most degenerate way humanly possible. Sitting at number 2 is Overlord. The story takes place in the year 2138, when virtual reality gaming is booming. Yggdrasil, a popular online game, is quietly shut down one day. However, the protagonist Momonga decides to not log out. Momonga is then transformed into the image of a skeleton as the most powerful wizard. The world continues to change, with non-player characters, NPCs, beginning to feel emotion. Having no parents, friends, or place in society, this ordinary young man Momonga then strives to take over the new world the game has become. The modern knowledge here is in Momonga, as he uses his knowledge of the game Yggdrasil along with his wits and strategic planning in order to not just survive, but to find other players in this new world he's been thrusted into. So he starts his journey to find other players by either gaining fame as an adventurer, or conquering the world. Next, sitting at the third spot, is Restaurant to Another World. There is a certain restaurant in the first basement level of a multi-tenant building in one corner of a shopping street near the office district. The historical restaurant, marked by a sign with a picture of a cat, is called Western Cuisine Nicoya. This restaurant looks completely normal through the week, but on Saturdays, it opens in secret exclusively to some very unique guests. During these hours, doors in various areas of a parallel world open to allow customers of many different races and cultures into the restaurant. This anime's use of modern knowledge is in the Master of Nicoya, as he uses his experience in culinary know-how to not just serve food to people from another world, but to introduce new forms of cuisine to people from a world where culinary arts are still in the medieval era, which in the end turns Nicoya into a melting pot of not just cuisine, but also a place where culture, experiences, and friendships can come together. Up on the 4th spot is Saga of Tanya the Evil. The novel series centers on a young girl who fights on the front lines in war. She has blonde hair, blue eyes, and nearly transparent white skin, and she flies through the air and mercilessly strikes down her opponents. Her name is Tanya de Grandchild, and she speaks with a young girl's lisp and commands the army. Tanya used to be one of Japan's elite office workers, but because of a wrathful god, was reborn as a little girl. Tanya prioritizes optimization and career advancement above all, and she will become the most dangerous entity among the Imperial Army's sorcerers. The use of modern knowledge is found in Tanya, as before she was reborn to the world she's in now. She used to be one of Japan's elite office workers, but because of a wrathful god, she was reborn as a little girl. Seeking to be able to live a life free of hardships, she aims to make her way to the top of the imperial military chain. However, her goal has one big problem: the world she's born in is brewing to the point of world war. Using what she knows from what happened in her previous world, she uses her wits in order to survive and reach the top of the military ladder. Next on the 5th spot is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Lonely 37-year-old Satoru Mikami is stuck in a dead-end job, unhappy with his mundane life, but after dying at the hands of a robber, he awakens to a fresh start in a fantasy realm as a slime monster. As he acclimates to his goopy new existence, his exploits with the other monsters set off a chain of events that will change his new world forever. Slime Isekai is more what if you get Isekaied and play an empire-building game. Oh, did I mention the fact that you are a slime in this world? So, I mainly put this anime here because of the fact that Rimuru rapidly modernizes the Goblin Village, but not just that, he also brings together many monsters to live in his new nation. Up next is The Dungeon of Black Company. Work sucks and Kinji was avoiding it beautifully by investing every penny. Good plan till he found himself in a new world, with debt. Now under the rule of an evil mining company, avoiding work is gonna be a tough grind. Does he have what it takes to pull off the ultimate workaround on this gig? Kinji uses his knowledge of making money in order for him to return to his easy way of life. The only thing is the world he got one-way sended is ruled by demons who rule their domain like a slave-driving company. From mining to monster hunting, to even dungeon crawling, Kinji and his team of weirdos have to make a profit in order to return to a way of life he once knew. Next on the 7th spot is The Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Einherjar. Some urban legends are best left untested. Yudo Suo gets more than he bargained for when he joins his childhood friend Mitsuki Shirmoya in testing out an urban legend. When he uses his phone to take a picture of himself with the local shrine's divine mirror, he is whisked off into another world, one heavily steeped in the lore of the Old Norse myths. Using his knowledge gained from school and from his solar-powered smartphone, he has the chance to bring the Wolf Clan, the same people who cared for him, to prominence, all while earning the adoration of a group of magic-wielding warrior maidens known as the Herjar. If I had to sum this anime up, it'd be a generic garbage fire. The only use of modern knowledge in this anime is through Yudo's use of his phone. Of course, since he uses a solar-powered smartphone, he doesn't need to worry about recharging it. I mean, this anime is pretty basic, to be honest, so I suggest you watch it at your own discretion. At the 8th spot is The Saint's magic power is omnipotent. Why would an overworked woman want to be summoned to a magical new world? To live her ideal life of leisure, of course. For Sei, it's truly a dream, studying spells and perfecting potions at the institute while helping people with their problems. But keeping a low profile is proving to be difficult as her magical power becomes omnipotent. Can Sei hide away in this fantasy forever? She hopes so. The modern knowledge here is in Sei's herbal knowledge. This can be seen as she creates new forms of medicinal potions. Although this anime is a bit more on the slower side, it still has an interesting story, a laid-back atmosphere. And this is probably one of the rare isekai animes where the main character is female instead of your traditional male MC. This anime offers a slow-paced plot, and it's probably one of the more underrated anime out there. Ninth on the list is, the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. The world's #1 assassin has been reincarnated as the eldest son of a family of aristocrat assassins. In exchange for being reincarnated in another world, a goddess has imposed upon him one condition: kill the hero who is prophesied to destroy the world. This was to be the mission in his new life. The synergistic effect of the vast knowledge and experience he gained that made all manner of assassinations possible in the modern world, and the secret techniques and magic of the fantasy world's most powerful family of assassins turn him into the greatest assassin of all time. In Assassin Isekai, the modern knowledge is in Lude himself. As a former hitman, as he's sent to his new world, he chooses to use his wits and creativity in order to help in his assassinations. As you can guess, since he was once a hitman, he does bring his experience to the table, which proves just how good of an assassin he is. So you could say this anime is more like someone asking what if John Wick got isekai'd? Or you know what, let's send Agent 47 to a fantasy world. Although it does fall in the usual isekai tropes, it's still an interesting anime to watch. And now finally on the 10th spot we have, Wise Man's Grandchild. A young man is reborn in another world where he is adopted as a baby by the hero Merlin Wolford and named Shin. By his 15th birthday, Shin has accumulated all kinds of power by studying under Merlin. But one thing his adoptive grandfather didn't give him was a lick of common sense. To cut it short, this is a power fantasy isekai. The only reason I put it here is because at the beginning Shin recalls some of his memory, thus using that knowledge to amplify and improve his magic. Other than that, this anime is your typical power fantasy.